What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we're back with another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the 6th episode of Season 3, Sunset. Now, we open the episode with a tribal officer being asked to check in on an old lady who hasn't been heard from in days. After looking around her home, he discovers her dead body. It turns out that the cousins were hiding out in this old lady's house. The officer then holds Lionel at gunpoint, but fails to notice Marco sneaking up on him. Marco then kills him with an axe. Now, I know that these two are known members of the cartel, but you'd think that checking into some out-of-the-way motel would be less conspicuous than killing an old lady and a cop. But hey, that's just me. After the title, Skylar calls Walt to discuss the divorce. She objects to Walt providing for their family with drug money, as it would make them accessories. Walt says that he's already been paying for their bills with drug money for the past 6 months, though. This also brings up a question I've wondered about. In the pilot, we see Skylar keeping a close eye on their credit card statements, and later she closely monitors Walt's phone records. How did she not notice Walt's strange behavior with their money? Not only was he paying their bills with unaccounted for drug money, but he also withdrew their entire life savings so that Jesse could buy an RV. Back at Jesse's place, he meets with Badger, who's back from California, and Skinny Pete. He shows them the meth that he cooked, which is as strong as they've ever had before. Jesse then suggests that they start selling again. Though hesitant from Combo's death, they agree when he promises that they'll be safer this time around. He then tells Badger to have his cousin Clovis fix up the RV. When they leave, though, they're observed by Hank, who's on a stakeout. He recognizes Badger, who's also connected to the blue meth, further cementing his suspicion of Jesse. Meanwhile, Walter goes to his first day of work in the super lab. He meets his new assistant, Gail Bedecker, a mild-mannered and academically trained chemist. Together they cook a batch of meth, and end up getting along great. It's a much different relationship than with Jesse. Gail reveals that one of the reasons he went into a life of crime is because he was bored with the politics of the chemistry industry and wanted to focus on lab work. This resonates with Walt, who also left his chemistry career because of interpersonal conflicts. Gail also recites a Walt Whitman poem, When I Heard the Learned Astronomer. Not only is this poem a great metaphor for Gail and Walt's love of chemistry, it also introduces us to Walt Whitman's poetry, which will not only be used thematically throughout the show, but also serves important plot functions. Meanwhile, Hank continues his investigation of Jesse. When talking to Marie, she suggested he ask Walt. Hank then calls Walt, who he thinks bought weed from Jesse, and reveals that he's looking for the RV. Walt then calls Jesse to warn him, but realizes that his phone might be bugged and hangs up. He then calls Saul for help, but for once he doesn't have any to offer. Walt then goes to Clovis's yard, where he and Badger are working on the RV. How Walt knew about the yard is unclear, but perhaps Jesse told him about it last season. Walt then tells them that they need to dispose of it, and Clovis suggests a junkyard that he knows. Badger then calls Jesse to tell him what's happening, and Jesse immediately rushes over there to stop him, which Hank sees. Walt then takes the RV to the junkyard, which is owned by Joe, for disposal. While he's there, Jesse arrives to stop him, bringing Hank straight to the RV. Walt and Jesse are then trapped inside, while Hank attempts to get in. Joe arrives, and along with Jesse, demands that Hank get a warrant before entering the RV. Hank relents, but stays parked right there until his team can bring the warrant. With no other options, Walt hatches a plan to get them out of there. Hank receives a call from a police officer letting them know that his wife was in a car accident and is in the emergency room. Hank rushes off to see her, but when he gets there, he learns that the whole thing was fake. It turns out it was Francesca, Saul's secretary, who made the call. With Hank gone, Walt and Jesse then have the RV demolished. Meanwhile, the cousins have been hanging around Los Pollos Hermanos, intimidating customers in order to get Gus to agree to let them kill Walt. Gus tells them to meet him out of town at sunset. There, Gus tells them again that they cannot kill Walt. However, he instead suggests that they kill the man who actually killed Tuco, Hank. The cousins say that killing a DEA agent is forbidden by the cartel, but Gus says that north of the border is his territory and gives them permission. The painting in Walt's new condo is the same painting from his doctor's office in the pilot. When getting the RV repaired, Jesse specifically asks for a new buzzer, a reference to the events of 4 Days Out.
Whoa, no, this is not my fault, all right? The buzzer didn't buzz.
The what?
The buzzer that buzzes when you put the keys in to, let you know that the battery's on. I know that. It didn't buzz.
The tribal police officer's call sign is KDK-12, a reference to the film The Shining.
KDK-12, come in. KDK-12.
KDK-12.
This is KDK-12 calling KDK-1.
Finally, when Gale shows Walt his coffee system, Walt jokingly asks why the hell they're making meth when Gale makes such great coffee. Fans like to joke about Walt and Gale opening up a coffee shop, but this does get at the heart of Walt's character. There were many ways for him to legally make a living using his vast chemistry knowledge. But he actively preferred to go into a life of crime because it excited him and made him feel powerful. Which is why when he says that he did all this for his family, it particularly rings hollow, because he put them in danger for the sake of his own enjoyment. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about the episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next Breaking Bad log, coming soon. This is my own private YouTube video, and I will not be harassed. Bitch. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markiness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obsc Racing Media, Daz J. Kit, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarland, Don Lucania, Celery Man, Jenna Marie Johnson, and Brad Smith Studios.